to order for January 19th, 2023. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Crompton?
Here.
Mr. Heath?
Here.
Mr. Kella?
Here.
Mr. Perez?
Here.
Ms. Rohr?
Here.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Here.
Mr. Dillon?
Here. Next, any questions on the minutes? Motion for the approval of minutes?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Heath?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
Aye. We got Jim.
Next order of business would be citizens to be heard on agenda items. This section is for anyone wanting to speak on agenda items. You can do so at this time. Please know that at this plan commission meeting, we do allow you to speak also when the case is called. But if you would like to speak on an agenda item at this time, you can do so. Seeing none, we can move on to old business for public hearing. We have none. Next would be old business. We have none. Under new business public hearing, I would just like to draw the attention to PUD 223, Plan Unit Development of Stepping Stones. That has been requested to be tabled to the, I believe, February 16th Plan Commission meeting, and staff is in support of that. So if you would like to make a motion on that tabling request, we would like you to do so at this time.
I got a motion for PUD 2-23 for tabling.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Heath?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
Aye.
Okay, so at your request, we would like to move up M222, the residential parking permit request for 800 block of Chorus Street. Let me get to that petition, the staff report. So under additional information, the Plan Commission reviewed and recommended approval to establish a residential parking permit program for the 800 block of Chorus Street at their meeting on November 17th, 2022. After the approval, it was determined by the city's legal department that the request needed to be advertised and reviewed as a public hearing and was required to be brought back to the Plan Commission for this reason. Standard public notification procedures for this request, including 600-foot public notices and posted public notification sign, have been completed. There is no new information being added to that was not provided with the original staff report in November, and that original staff report is attached. I can read that original staff report if you like, but if not, I could turn it over to Chris Regis for further explanation of why this is coming back. It's at your discretion.
Yes, let's hear from Chris. Chris? Boy, not prepared. None of them are working.
Come on, just come up here.
Okay, hi everyone. Technical difficulties back there. Here's the deal. I was approached by the planning department when this was initially up and asked if it had to be a public hearing. I referred to the state statute, and the answer is no. Pursuant to state statute, it does not have to be, but I was mistaken. By ordinance, it does. So that's why we had to renotice it. I'll take the blame for it, and that's why we're back here discussing the same thing. If the plan commission wants to, you can take notice of prior evidence and prior testimony that was given before, so we can avoid repetitive testimony and repetitive evidence, but we do need to conduct a public hearing on this issue at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Does any of the commissioners have any questions on this one at all?
Do we need to make a motion to have previous talked about? Okay, then I would like to make a motion to have previous testimony and any evidence presented to be counted as of now as well.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Heath?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
Aye. Well, then, if there's no other questions from us, is there somebody that want to question or speak on this at all? Yes,
Maybe I think the main applicant, maybe should be called first if she's here. The petitioner,
who was the petitioner?
Georgine Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, and I'm sorry, we have to do this again.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
Did you want to swear me in?
Anything you say may be used against you.
Okay.
How's that?
Righty. Well, mainly we're here because our residents cannot park in their places on Cora Street. That's all we want is residential parking on the 800 block of Cora. The other side is no parking, has been for many years. But I don't think it's fair to our residents to have to go park on Center, Elizabeth, and wherever. So that's the main issue, and I'm hoping that you'll agree with us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody that want to speak against it? Oh, somebody. Your name, please?
Hi, I'm Diana Viveros, and I am from the Joliet Latino Economic Development Association, and I'm here with Artemio Reyes. He is a business owner on Ruby Street of Caritas Don Jose. It's Ruby and Cora,
Let me swear, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth,
I swear.
and you want to speak against it?
Yes, so Joliet Leda, we support our small businesses in the Joliet community, and part of that is helping them provide support for government relations. So we have provided a statement. City of Joliet Planning Committee, we appreciate the support that the City of Joliet provides to local small businesses and are grateful for the partnership with LEDA, with the Latino Economic Development Association, where we offer technical assistance to local small businesses. Recently, Artemio Reyes, a small business owner of Caritas Don Jose, reached out to LEDA for guidance and support to manage a situation related to the growth of his business and an increase in customer traffic. We are concerned about the proposed residential parking restrictions that may negatively impact Artemio's business by driving customers away. We urge the planning team to address this issue and ensure a balance between the needs of the residents and small businesses. As you know, a loss of sales in businesses can also result in a loss of sales and taxes for the City of Joliet. We were notified that not everyone in the neighborhood received a notice of the hearing. Artemio let us know that he did not receive a notice, and some of the neighbors also did not receive a notice. And if there is any verification or any way to verify if all the residents listed in the 600 feet public notification boundary were notified. We would like to confirm if there is a requirement that all parties listed are notified before the hearing can move forward. Artemio has demonstrated a commitment to addressing the concerns of residents by implementing measures such as directing traffic, implementing pre-ordering through phone calls or online sales, and having employees park off-site. Additionally, he is actively identifying locations for customer parking and has staff directing traffic during peak business hours. They recognize that their business is growing and have a larger client base. They are actively working to provide a parking space to accommodate their growing business. This year, they have a plan to purchase a surrounding building to use as parking space. If parking restrictions are implemented, it could have a significant impact on Artemio's business and the business community on Ruby Street, which is already active with many businesses. We would like to know how the City of Joliet is ensuring that there is no conflict between small businesses and residents in the area. We appreciate your consideration of this matter and the potential effects on small businesses before making a decision. Thank you for your attention on this matter.
Thank you.
And then I will be supporting Artemio in any interpretation that he may need. He did provide his own statement and we'll be reading it in English.
Okay.
Okay. Hello. I have tried to work with my neighbors by placing red cones out front of my store and on Cora Street many times. I even tried to buy extra parking lot like she explained, but the price was way too costly. The city granted me my business licenses to run my store and I'm properly zoned for business. The city has admitted that they underestimate the success of the business. All the traffic on Ruby Street is not from my store, it's also from other businesses, their customers and workers. But yet, my store gets blamed for all the cars and traffic. On the pictures that it's showing delivery trucks parking in the no parking zones, I see that happening at many other businesses throughout Joliet, and nobody says anything about those situations. We can see car dealers, new shipments are unloaded in the middle of 4 lanes highways, beer trucks unloading where they can find a place for the truck, even blocking traffic. Again, nobody says anything about them. The applicant, Georgine Williams, does not even live on Cora Street. She lives on Elizabeth Street. Last year, she was trying to shut down a friend of mine on Hispanic-owned business, BF Tire on Broadway and Hutchins. This location is blocks and blocks away from her home. All the man wanted to do was change semi-tractor tires. I don't know why she will not work with Hispanic business owners on her community. That is all.
Thank you. Does anybody else have something to speak against? For? You want to speak for? Sure, come on up. Hi again.
Since 1998, I have been the community neighborhood person up there. I was one of the first neighborhood watches. People will call on me. That's why I'm here. They called on Cunningham. They refused to help them. They call on me. So I will say, yes, I will help you. I'll find out what we have to do. I live right where I can see Cora Street from my house. So I do not have anything against Hispanic people. There's one of them here with us today to speak. So I'm sorry. I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm a nurse. I will take care of anybody that needs me. I'm retired, but if you call me, I'm going to come over. So I'm just telling you that.
Thank you. Sir, you wanted to say something? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, not but the truth. State your name, please.
Rich Serdar, and I own the buildings across the street from 344 and 360 Ruby. Okay, I just want the planning commission to know that Central Muffler, which is right next door to me, I counted today, pulled 12 cars out and put them on Ruby Street and on Cora, and they're a muffler shop. It was Wolvogel's muffler shop before, and they're doing heavy work there, and these vehicles are sitting there for weeks. And I see engines coming in, transmissions, and it's my understanding that the city doesn't want these businesses putting cars on the street, because I know of another shop at Rayner and Theodore, and he says the city told them you cannot put any cars on the street. Well, this Central Muffler is doing it, and they're doing this heavy work, and there's cars that are sitting for a long time. Their employees can't even park in their lot, and there's cars there that haven't moved. And the other thing about it is, it's supposed to be where everything is explosion-proof in that building, because they're doing heavy work according to the electrical code. 501 is a section. And the rules are thrown out, nobody follows them. So, it's not necessarily only the grocery store that's creating a problem. When you have 12 vehicles every day out on the street there, that's 12 less vehicles that their customers, spots that they can use that would be legally parked. So I just want the planning commission to know that it's not one source of a problem. There's actually like 3.
Multiple.
And there's been people that have witnessed this. I have people from the muffler shop park in front of my building, and it got so bad, I had to put a cable up to keep people out. So, you know, I think it should be known that it's just not one person that's creating a problem.
Okay,
So that's
Thank you.
all I have to say.
thank you.
Mr. Serdar, so you are in favor of having residential parking permits on Cora Street?
I think it'd be a wise thing to do, just because, you know, people should have where they can park in front of their house.
Okay, thank you.
Sit down, Alex. Thank you. Another, you want to speak, sir? You swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
You state your name?
Roberto Cornelio, I'm a consultant to the Joliet Latino Economic Development Association as part of the CDBG-funded Technical Assistance Program for Small Businesses. And I work with Carnitas on Jose. And I wanted to share with you some thoughts that the gentleman forgot to mention. As part of the technical assistance that we provide in the business started 4 years ago. Since then, they've created 20 jobs in the Joliet community for Joliet residents. The revenue has been about $10 million, contributed, I believe, well over $100,000 in sales tax to the city of Joliet's budget. And the business is growing. And as Diana mentioned from LEDA, we hope that the Plan Commission would consider a very a strong balance between the needs of the residents and the growing small businesses in that community. You know, the actual impact of loss of customers and the loss of revenue for the business, in fact, would mean a loss of revenue for the city of Joliet, which I know is very important to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Go ahead, ma'am. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. What's your name, ma'am?
I'm a resident of Cora Street. I live right in the center of the 800 block. I'm one of the concerned citizens that has been trying to deal with the issues of the parkings. We have done 2 petitions of people in strictly the 800 block where we're having the issues. And yes, we do have Mexican Americans, Mexicans, blacks, Latinos, whites on our street, and they have signed the petitions. I have copies of them if you need them, to try to, you know, against parking on both sides of our street, which was the first petition, and the second one was for private parking for the residents. We've been trying to work with the city for a very long time, especially through the police department, where we've gotten nowhere. It's bad enough when a dispatcher tells you, oh, just turn around and go the other way. I've lived there for 38 years. I moved in right after they got that passed to where it was parking only on one side of the street. The lady who lived next door to me was very involved in that part of getting that done because it was a safety issue. It's not wide enough for 2 cars. I'm lucky, I have a driveway, so I can park, one of my cars will fit into the little parking space that's right in front of my house. Other people don't have that. They don't have parking in the back, they don't have parking in the front. Some of these houses are dual residences. If you have more than 1 car living there, there's no place to park. When you have trucks blocking the way at the bottom of the street and you cannot turn out onto Ruby safely, that's an issue. I just destroyed my car, $8,000 worth of damage because there was a truck unloading or parked on the corner. I couldn't see around it. When I went out to turn right, I couldn't see. There was a car coming down the hill. I had to curve into that truck. He was parked illegally. He did not get a ticket. I got a ticket for driving too fast. I was leaving a corner. So this has been an issue ongoing for the last 3 years. We stopped the store when it wanted to have a liquor license. We didn't want them to have a liquor license. If we'd have known the store was going to sell food the way it's selling fresh food on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'd have come in and tried to stop that too. Probably wouldn't have gotten very far, but we would have tried to stop that. It's just not the place for that kind of business. The best thing for the city would be to help find this guy someplace else. There's no other Mexican grocery store that does that kind of business, and I guarantee you he does a great business and good for him. But he should have known before he moved in there that there wasn't the parking. And it shouldn't be expected on us residents that have been there for many years. I've seen many people move in and out of Cora. We've still got some older people on Cora, but we have some young families with children. These children ride their bikes. It's very dangerous, especially on the weekends when they're not in school, because they're parking and driving and they think it's a speedway. They don't like to stop at the stop sign at Ross Street. It's just ongoing. But I do have petitions that'll show you that this is not just a white person's issue. They all signed. Everybody on that block signed the original one for parking only on one side. And the majority signed for having residential parking. The ones that were a little ambivalent about that are the renters. They didn't quite want to sign for that because they'd have to go buy a permit every time they rented the apartment. But it is not a safe situation for any of us.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Just for the record, this was passed once before, and it's come back to us because it was in the city ordinance, you said, Regis, right?
The ordinance requires notice in a public hearing, so the prior vote is of no consequence.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but first off, I don't think anybody, it's not a race issue. Nobody in this board knew who lives where, what business is going for what. So that being said, is there any questions for any of the commissioners who'd like to make a question, comment? There's a couple more people that want to speak? Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. State your name, please.
Liz. Good afternoon. I wanted to come by because we don't have a problem with the business. I live on Center Street, but my father owns property on that Cora block. And I've been to the store as a customer several times throughout the summer. And I would go on my bike or I would go walking. And 3 separate occasions, I've almost been run over when I was on my bike. Twice on my bike, once walking. And it's really just a safety issue because my father's gotten in an accident going down the alleyway between Cora and Center Street when he was trying to go to the left to center or to Central to come pick me up at school, and he was hit head on when he was trying to pull from the alley because he couldn't see past the parking that people were doing in the store side on Ruby. So there's on Ruby Street, there's a line where people can park, and there's delivery trucks and large cars that park there that you can't see beyond from where to pass. And the times that I almost got hit, I was twice on my bike. I would be going down that street, and people would just come pulling in and out without checking, without looking. And when I was walking, it was during the parking lot. People just pull out without worry. And I came to talk about them. And I don't know where the race issue came in, because I'm Hispanic. And I used to like going to that store, but ever since I've felt like I couldn't even walk there because I thought I was gonna get run over, I just stopped going. And that would be it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Anyone else? Sir, come on up. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
State your name, please.
My name is Luis Pantoja. I'm a property owner of the 900 block of Cora.
Okay.
I just wanted to tell you that 90% of these houses and all these people that are complaining about parking, all these houses have garages and driveways. And these are the same people that park their cars on the streets throughout the winter when they're not supposed to. Okay, so they're just having a hard time complaining about the business. It is a very successful business. It's growing, and I'm aware that they're trying to do their best, but unfortunately, it's a tight area. There is not enough parking. So this require for permits is not gonna really help. It's just gonna create another issue, I guess, or more anger between them. And that's what I wanted to tell you. These people have a way, a way to park their cars in their property, but they just love to park it on the street. Garages full of junk, too many cars, too many people and living in those houses. You know how those problems are created. That's it.
Yep, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, not but the truth?
Yes, sir.
State your name, please.
Tamara Barnes. I live at 819 Chorus Street. I've been there for 20 years. As we've spoken before, there are 6 driveways on the 800 block of Chorus Street. How is that giving everybody a place to park? It's not. I have to park on Center Street sometimes and walk to home on Chorus Street between the homicides and all the people that I'm afraid of could hurt other people and hurt me. I mean, I really would think that the parking permit for the 800 block of Chorus Street should be granted. It is a very big safety issue. I think there was like 16 car accidents and then on January 3rd, I had to call 911 on a car accident that the guy was pinned in his vehicle at the corner of Center and Ruby. It's not a racist issue. It's a safety issue. We have children. We have elderly people. It's not right. Like I said, it's not racist. It's safety. And I would appreciate, you guys kind of going over this and seeing if you can help us, because we don't know what else to do. We don't know what else to do.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? Seeing none, are there any comments or questions from any of the commissioners? Seeing none, does anybody have a motion for the M-2-22?
As we did last time, Chairman,
You make your motion to
make a motion to approve the parking permits.
parking permit, second?
Second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
No.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Heath?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
I'm gonna, I don't think it will fix it. I wish it would. I'm gonna vote yes for it. I wish the city would dig up the parkway and overlay them, and they could do that. But yes, aye.
So this will go with recommendation for approval to the city council on February 21st. Moving back to the top of the new business public hearing agenda items, we have PUD 123, preliminary plan unit development, amendment to lot 6, Droughton Point Center re-subdivision. General information, the applicant is TFG Joliet LLC. Status of applicant is contract purchaser developer. Requested action is approval of a preliminary plan unit development and amendment to a lot 6 Droughton Point Center re-subdivision. Purpose is to allow a 2-lot commercial subdivision. Existing zoning is B1 neighborhood business. Location is the southwest corner of Droughton Road and Caton Farm Road. Size is 2.452 acres. Existing land use is undeveloped. Surrounding land use and zoning, to the north is commercial B1 neighborhood business. To the south is undeveloped B1 neighborhood business. To the east is single-family residential, R2 single-family residential. To the west is stormwater detention area, and that's also zoned R2 single-family residential. Under site history, the subject properties are part of a larger 6-acre tract that was annexed into the city in 1989 and originally zoned R2 single-family residential. In 2007, City Council approved the preliminary final and recording plats for the subject site known as Droughton Point Center subdivision, a PUD. Also in 2007, the City Council approved annexation of an additional 1.4 acres adjacent to the site, along with a rezoning of the entire PUD site to B1 neighborhood business. The rezoning was approved with the intent to develop a neighborhood business center in the subdivision. Subject amendment to lot 6 Droughton Point Center re-subdivision would create 2 new lots. Lot 7 and Lot 8 for future commercial use. A 10,000 square foot early education and daycare center with a 5,200 square foot outdoor play area would be constructed on Lot 7. Lot 8 would feature a 3,700 square foot building for future commercial use. Petitioner has also submitted for a recording plat simultaneous with the subject preliminary plan unit development. Under special information, the petitioner seeks approval of a preliminary plan unit development, amendment to Lot 6 Droughton Point Center re-subdivision. Approval of a subject PUD petition would allow the petitioner to develop 2 future commercial buildings with an early education and daycare center on Lot 7. The developer is also requesting a special use permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals to allow the early education facility on Lot 7, and that was approved at ZBA earlier today. The proposed daycare center use is allowable by special use permit. Like I said, that was approved earlier today. The resulting main buildings on Lot 7 and 8 would be required to complement the design of the existing CVS and physicians' immediate care facilities that are located to the north. Draft elevations of the proposed early education and daycare center have been included in the staff report packet. The elevations show a 2-story building with brick veneer siding with stone veneer running along the building's base. Precast accents are displayed intermittently with the front facade. Both lots 7 and 8 meet the city's minimum required number of parking spaces for commercial use. Pursuant to previously approved subdivision ordinance, the following uses remain as prohibited uses in the Droughton Point Commercial Center site, and those are outdoor off-site advertising, mobile home or recreational vehicle parking, sexually oriented businesses, outdoor storage, including outdoor storage that is incidental to a permitted use, tavern or packaged liquor stores, bowling alley or billiard hall, tattoo parlors, outdoor entertainment, gas station, oil change facilities, car wash, body shop, auto repair, auto painting or auto sales, and also idling of trucks or the compaction of garbage or waste materials between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. south or west of the principal structures. All public improvements will be required by the Public Works and Utilities Departments per the city's zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations. Water and sewer connection fees and development impact fees will be required. Future development must comply with all requirements pursuant to the city's zoning ordinance, landscaping and screening regulations, and unified tree ordinances, and that concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have the petitioner on hand? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Aaron Yeshuafar. I represent the developer who wants to develop this project. What we're proposing is a professionally run daycare center which will provide a safe and professionally operated environment for the community to have their children taken care of while they go to work or otherwise. The operator of this facility has over 90 locations nationally, and they are expanding in various states with the goal of having over 150 locations in the next 18 months. The design as presented, we have observed all of the rules and regulations of the planning department, and as we complete the design, we intend to follow all the requirements of the engineering department and all the appropriate departments requiring the construction. We think this would be a amenity, something which improves the community, provides a safer environment for the community. This project, that whole area, as I understand, was previously approved as a commercial project, which was never completed. We think we will be a good addition to the project, that the other 2 buildings which are on that site. If there are any questions or things, I'll be happy to answer.
I have just one quick question. You guys don't plan on putting any kind of small fence around where the daycare or where the kids will go out and play, do you?
The playground area by licensing requirements must have fences, and the design shows the fence
Okay, I couldn't
around
see
the
it on this.
playground area.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from any commissioners? Any comments or pros or cons from the public references? Seeing none, do I have a motion for PUD 1-23?
So moved.
Roll call?
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Rohr.
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich.
Aye.
Mr. Cox.
Aye.
Mr. Crompton.
Aye.
Mr. Heath.
Aye.
Mr. Kella.
Aye.
Mr. Dillon.
Aye. Next
This
year?
will go to City Council February 21st with a recommendation for approval. PUD 223 was previously tabled. P123, extraterritorial review of a preliminary plat of Denler Subdivision Unit 2. And FP 123, extraterritorial review of a final plat of Denler Subdivision Unit 2. Under general information, the applicant is KGG LLC. Status of the applicant is an attorney. Property owner is Grundy Bank, trust number 1503. Requested action, approval of a preliminary plat and final plat. Purpose is to allow for a 6-lot industrial development. Existing zoning is unincorporated Will County, I-2 General Industrial. Location is west of Cherry Hill Road. Size is 74 acres. Existing land use is agricultural. Surrounding land use and zoning to the north is agricultural with County A1 and residential County R5. To the south is industrial County I2, and to the east is agricultural New Lenox R2A, single-family residential, and to the west is agricultural undeveloped and institutional, which is Eisenhower Academy, and County A1 agricultural. Under site history, there are no previous cases for this site filed with the city of Joliet. The property in question is located in unincorporated Will County within 1.5 miles of the Joliet city limits and is subject to the city's extraterritorial review. There are no plans to annex the site into the city of Joliet. In July 2022, City Council approved the extraterritorial review of the preliminary, final, and recording plats of Denler Subdivision, which is the 5-lot industrial subdivision located directly south of the subject site and owned by the same developer. Under Will County site history, the proposal has been reviewed by Will County as zoning case ZC 22069, which went before the Will County Planning and Zoning Commission and the Will County Land Use and Development Committee in November 2022. County approved a map amendment to reclassify the site from County A1 agricultural to County I2 general industrial. Under special information, subdivisions of land located within 1.5 miles of the Joliet city limits and not within another municipality are subject to the city's extraterritorial review process. Purpose of this process is to review the plat for compliance with the requirements of the subdivision regulations with respect to subdivision improvements and design. Petitioner, KJG LLC, on behalf of the developer, Cherry Hill I-80 LLC, seeks approval of a preliminary and final plat for an industrial development located in unincorporated Will County on the west side of Cherry Hill Road. The subdivision creates 6 lots on a 74-acre site. 4 of the lots are between 5 and 10 acres in size. Lot 3 and Lot 6 are larger and contain stormwater detention areas that serve the entire site. According to the petitioner, the intended site users are similar to those for the original Denler subdivision, which includes small fabricators, assemblers, or manufacturers and sellers of heavy equipment. Access to the site will be from a proposed extension of Moss Lane that aligns with the existing Moss Lane at Cherry Hill Road. There will also be access from the private road Denler Drive located in the Denler subdivision to the south. Plat shows a proposed berm along the northern property line and adjacent to the residential neighborhood at the northwest corner. There's also a berm on the west property line as a buffer for the school district property containing Eisenhower Academy. Both the neighborhood and the school property are also located in unincorporated Will County. Public Works and Utilities departments have reviewed the plats and have no concerns at this time. And that concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Jim. We have the petition on hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
State your name, please.
Nathaniel Washburn, 111 North Ottawa Street with KGG LLC.
You have anything you would like to add?
I don't think I have anything I'd like to add. We vetted this thing at some length when we did phase one about a year ago or 9 months ago, and this is an extension of that. Unlike the previous situation, we are asking for no variances or exceptions from Joliet's code. Everything is being done in accordance with Joliet's zoning and planning ordinances.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions from any of the commissioners? Any comments or questions or pros and cons from the public? Come on up, sir. Sure to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
State your name.
Michael Erfmeyer. I live right across the street in Wildflower Estates. I am a huge advocate of industry. I'm a 29-year member of Pipefitters Local 597, part of the MCA community. I work in this area quite a bit with Doc Gregory on the development of this community. I believe wholeheartedly in industry, but I also believe in doing it responsibly. And we've had several concerns at the last meeting to where it actually went on for quite a bit during the hearing. And when it came down to a vote, it was off by one. There was a lot of questions, even by the board members there, raised during the time as to what was actually going there. And it's funny that here, funny but not funny, that the gentleman listed a lot of industrial things that were going in there. But yet, when we had the hearing back there, we talked about the potential for dog groomers and things that did not even rank in the industry. We actually had to bring it to the table and say, is it possible that there could be welding, fabricating, and everything going there? And you know, everybody, when they listed the business and go in there, they all had dogs and puppies in them. Nothing, nobody expressed anything of any kind of heavy industry. And again, not only am I a pipe fitter, I'm an engineer. I know what can happen in these places. I maintain facilities all the way from ExxonMobil down to small facilities. We had a fire in the Cherry Hill Industrial Park over there that shut down I-80 for 3 hours. And a lot of that spillage almost made it over into the houses over there. That is nowhere near close to this. I don't live directly next to it. I live across the street in Wildflower, actually off of Cherry Hill, right in that little curvature in the upper right-hand corner. I cannot imagine what the residents of Engle Park feel about this going in there. There's a school right there where they're gonna have this. If they had a fire or any kind of thing that happened like it happened in that Cherry Hill Industrial Center, that whole area would be ravaged with any form of chemicals, smoke, or whatnot that goes there. Secondly, the truck traffic that comes through there is already tremendous. I understand that Washington Street is a designated truck route. That worked in the 50s and 60s and 70s, but just as everything in life, we have to adapt with the times. We have semi-trucks going down a 2-lane highway. Back then, there was probably 500 houses in the area. Now there's 5,000. Trees are overgrown. We got trucks trying to make U-turns at the corner of Washington and Cherry Hill. The accidents that happen on a weekly basis there are at Cherry Hill and Washington are unbelievable. And if you continue to go down Washington between Cherry Hill and Briggs, there's about 7 to 10 bus stops there that I see every morning, because I work, my shop is in Joliet off of Collins Street. I see every day when I go to work, and then every day when I come home, them buses stop on that route. Now we're gonna be directing trucks to get off of Briggs, and they're gonna take Washington down there, where children are being let off the bus. They're gonna continue to go down Cherry Hill, or they're gonna get off at Route 30. Nobody ever goes down Gauger. They try to bypass Gauger because them trucks are backed up to the 9s on Route 30 there, and they try to go down Washington. They make a left there. They got to do a 2-lane swing to do it. They almost hit cars. Not to mention, if they do take the Gauger route, they got to go over that bridge. We already have a substantial problem with bridges in Joliet, as we all know. We're trying to fix these things as we go. So now we're going to deter probably an already eroding bridge at Cherry Hill, and we're going to send 100 more trucks over it a day into an industrial center. Again, I am all about industry. I work in it, but I believe in building it responsibly. There's nothing wrong also, we're half a mile over the road where the Cherry Hill Industrial Center is. Behind that, I believe there's 128 acres already zoned for industry there. I mean, we can go a half a mile down the road and we can put it there. The whole reason they want to develop this there is they're not building any more homes. They talk about tax dollars of what this will generate, and we've gone over the money. But if you put more homes there, It's probably the same exact amount of money that you'll generate. What it comes down to is there's somebody owns that land and they want to make money. And the quickest way to sell it is industrial. We never got no notification of the first building that went in there. All right, because according to rule, you got to live on Cherry Hill. I live as close to Cherry Hill as you can get. I could throw a baseball and hit it. But because the back of my house does not back up to it squarely, I never got a notification for it. The only reason we've seen this is because the signs were posted out there the last time. So again, I hate to beat a dead horse, and I wholeheartedly believe in building industry, but I believe in building it responsibly, and this is extremely irresponsible, being in the schools, the children, and everybody in the area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Cheryl Witzke, 322 Hartford Place.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do. So if you pull up the plat, my house is the last house on Hartford Place. It is backing up against the detention pond to the north. We understand that at some point something is going to go in here. But there are too many questions right now about drainage, where the overflow of water is going to go. As of right now, the overflow of water is supposed to go from the north detention pond to the south detention pond, and then under a culvert over into New Lenox. There's concerns about the multiple well water, the multiple wells. I'm asking you to delay approving this. As the gentleman before me said, it was split 50-50 with Will County because there were so many questions. And I think we need to have a lot more questions answered and a lot more things figured out before we actually approve this. So I'm just asking for you to table this while we figure out the well water, while we figure out the detention ponds. My house already, due to the unimproved 4th Avenue, there is a ditch next to my house. The water does not drain in that farmland very well, which is why they're trying to sell it. And I end up with seepage in my basement. Now, if there's a detention pond that's 75 feet away from my foundation, Mr. Vane has assured us, he is the engineer of the site, that it will help our problem. Except when you look at the plat, my house is lower than the high water level in the detention pond. And I'm not an engineer, but I do know how gravity and water work. And maybe I just need to have him explain it better to me on how that water, if it hits the high water mark, isn't going to back up around my foundation and my home. So again, I'm just asking you to wait to approve this till we can get some more things figured out with the developer, with the engineer, and just give us a chance to keep our homes safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Hi.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
State your name.
Carolyn Vaughn Lohan. I live on South Washington Street, right where it merges into Hartford. The streets are very narrow. We have a school there. We're all on well water. We can't afford to have these trucks coming up and down our streets because when there is 2 trucks of a normal size, it's very difficult to get down. And unlike the gentleman prior, there is already an industrial area on the other side. So I don't understand why that can't be moved to over there. You're looking to bring industries into a private home area. And with all these kids and everything, it's just not safe. This should be tabled until we can all get the answers that we're looking for. We've talked to the lawyers, and the lawyer has assured us that it will not affect us. But actually, it will affect us if we're on well water and then problems occur from them. Are they going to be held responsible to get us fresh, clean well water? Are they going to work with the city to put in new plumbing for us? These are all questions that need to be answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm back again. I want to address for your benefit and for those here from the community's benefit, and I may ask Rich Vane to step up briefly to talk about the detention basin situation. I want to start out by clarifying one thing. The zoning and the use for this property is not up for discussion today. The only thing up for discussion is the extraterritorial review of the plat of subdivision. Will County has already vetted the use and the zoning and granted that approval, and that is a settled issue. The plat of subdivision is up for review today to make sure that it complies with Joliet standards for street lights, road width, lot dimensions, berming, so on and so forth. One individual mentioned the school district. The school district and their attorney has been contacted by my office and my colleague Dick Kavanaugh, and we agreed to increase the berming and install a berm along the western property boundary along the school at the school's request, and the school is comfortable with the improvements we've decided to make. As far as the detention, as you all well know from your experience here in Joliet, just like the city, the county also is not allowed to approve plats and subdivisions that would cause water runoff from this property to backflow onto other neighbors. So the detention, and again, Rich will speak to this in a moment, is adequate to prevent the issues that are being raised. We're here to make sure that this complies with Joliet standards. And as staff has stated, the plat has been reviewed by Joliet staff and it does comply with Joliet standard. So to table the issue to get more information wouldn't change the fact that this is complying with Joliet standards. And again, all of the comments and questions I've had are concerns about what the end use might be, and my colleague, again, Dick Kavanaugh, presented that information to the Will County Board, and they were satisfied with the answers and uses presented. So on behalf of the applicant, I would be asking that this be approved, but I will invite Rich Vane to come up and speak about the detention basins and the water flow briefly, if that pleases the Plan Commission.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Richard Vane. I'm with company MG2A.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
So right now, it's a very low farm field, and it ponds up with water, and a lot of that ponded water in the farm field gets into the neighbors. So I'm going to redirect all the water from the north and the west to a culvert that's under Cherry Hill Road. We're going to design the detention in accordance with all Will County requirements. We have our standard detention requirements. We have depressional storage requirements, and we have a blocked restrictor requirement. All those things are managed. If you take a quick look, you'll see that these detention basins are oversized compared to the ones that you normally see in a development because we're managing it properly.
Let me ask you a question. Most of that is determined by the county, wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Then their engineering, I mean, the city would have no real say-so. It's not even in the city.
The county requirements have to be met.
Yeah.
Because they have to.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? You want to speak up, Nick? Sure, go ahead. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do, sir.
State your name, please.
Danny Bestel. I'm a resident of the area. I'm also the water plant operator for Ingalls Park, Eastmoreland Water Association. I'm licensed by the Illinois EPA to chemically treat water to make sure the water is safe for drinking. There's a couple of concerns here. First off, with berms, I work for another municipality. I've seen where berms have been put up, and I have also seen where berms will fail. The biggest thing is I think we all are looking for assurances. And I hear what the gentleman says. He's going to run it in a different direction. I've also seen it, though, where sometimes that backflows. Berms fail. My concern is for a couple of reasons. One, I do live there. I don't want to get water in my basement. I'm also concerned about the development. It not being a city thing, it's hard to say how it'll be developed. I have concerns, though, where I worry about putting undue strain on the aquifer. Also, any kind of development what kind of assurances will we have as far as wastewater? Including stormwater, people dump stuff, you get problems. There's a big risk here, and it all can lead to possible problems. I just feel like there's a lot of questions that are still out there and not enough answers. And I would like you to take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Come on up, sir. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
State your name, please.
Andres Herrera Jr. So this is new to us as well. I'm a local resident of 225 Independence Avenue. This is new to us. This is our first notification. So we're also we have questions as well. We want to know how this is going to affect us. And in agreement with the local residents as well, as we're concerned about all the waste in the water. We have a septic tank. We have our own drainage. We don't have public drainage like the city does. So we're just concerned, we don't want all those chemicals in our water as well. So we're just concerned, and we also have questions. So in agreement with the local residents, we also want some more time to be able to clarify this to us.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Regis.
Hello?
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name, please.
Nicholas Wallow. I'm a resident right there next to Cheryl, my neighbor. We're the very, very corner of that subdivision there on 4th and Hartford Street. And the same, I have the same concerns everybody else spoke about here. Being there for 30 plus years. You get these 100-year floods, so they say, I've seen 2 of them there in the 30 plus years, and when it comes over there. I'm at the highest point in that subdivision, I believe, at that corner, in that far southwest corner, or east corner. And it can get pretty rough out back there with the fields. But then again, the other concerns is our wells. We have private wells. A lot of them houses down there have shared wells. And that's a big concern because they're all right down that line. But I would like more time as everybody else just to get, this is the first I've heard of it and the first knowledge the first bit of knowledge I'm getting here. And I have all the same concerns, and I'd like to talk to a lot of people more about this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, I had a question. Yeah, I have a question for you, or maybe 2. Trying to think how to phase it. This only comes to us because it's within a certain distance from the city, right? So technically, the city has no control over this. This is in the county. And technically, all stuff should go to the county if there's problems down the road.
That's correct. This is Moore County, but the state statute gives the city extraterritorial jurisdiction over development within 1.5 miles of the city limits, and that's to ensure that those developments, because they're so close to the city and integrated with the city, and in some way to make sure that they are up to city code, essentially. So you would get something grossly out of whack right outside the city that can impact inside the city. And according to the staff report, this development does comply with city codes.
Yes, and if there's problems just for down the road, for general knowledge, they need to go to the county and get them resolved at the county level, correct? Not the city council level.
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
Quick question, when you mean out of whack, you don't necessarily mean the type of zoning that it is. You mean there's not a bright purple wall or something. You're talking about aesthetically, you're not talking about zoning.
I'm talking about...
Or is it all included?
I'm not talking about zoning, but we're talking about building codes, right? Safety codes, the drainage issues, the engineering. The city gets to review all that stuff to make sure, for example, that drainage from this doesn't disparately impact the city. And so that's why they give us authority to review things that might affect us because they're so close.
Got it. Purple wall is a bad example, but yeah, that's what I meant.
I know what you meant.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
I got a question. I don't know if Jim or Nate can answer, but has it been approved or has it gone to the county? What has the county done?
I can speak to that. Commissioner Cox. Actually, I'm going to also address Bridget's question because I want to be very clear. This has been heard at the county, at Plan Commission, at their Planning and Zoning Commission, their Land Use Committee, and the full county board. The zoning and the initial review of the preliminary final plats have all been approved by all of those bodies and moved forward. That's why we're here today. When the zoning was approved, Joliet, like all municipalities, has the right when a zoning request is made in the county, if it's within their planning jurisdiction, to file a formal legal objection. Joliet did not object to the zoning request, so that's why this was converted from A1 Ag to I2 once the county approved it. So we're here today, having gone through the county's process to get Joliet's blessing on the more technical details for the actual plat of subdivision. So that's why we're here reviewing technical aspects. The zoning aspects, there were opportunities. Many of the individuals here did appear at those county hearings and voiced their concerns, and Dick Kavanaugh, who was representing the property owner at those hearings, it sounds like did make an attempt to address those concerns. Maybe there's some discussions ongoing on that. But as far as what the city and the Plan Commission is being asked to do, it is review the technical aspects of the plat for conformance with Joliet's code in the event this property ever became part of Joliet. And frankly, my applicant would have, due to availability of city utilities, would love to be in the city. However, there's no contiguity, and the nearest utility connections are south of Route 80, which was part of the reason when we did phase 1 last year, we mentioned all of these things. There's no contiguity. The likelihood of getting contiguity with the county residential neighborhoods is low, and therefore, we're doing the best with the situation we're presented. We went through the county process, and we're here to make sure that the city has its voice heard, but again, it's on the technical details, not the zoning or other aspects.
Thank you.
Quick question, so this will be on well?
It will be on, I believe, well and septic, correct? Yes.
Because it is in the county. Any other questions? Yes,
Chair. And I don't know who to address this to. I did a few subdivisions in the city of Joliet years ago. We had to put up, does a developer have to put up any kind of a bond to address some of the residents' questions as far as if the detention pond doesn't work right or something, so they fix it?
We do have to put up a public improvement bond and a road bond, and so if there are some issues, presumably that could be used or utilized by the county to address some of those concerns if appropriate and if that's the direction that it needs to go. But again, good engineering practices, we have oversized ponds to make sure that the flow of water goes accordingly, and we're trying to, again, make the best of the situation. But to your point, there are bonds required by the county.
Just trying to address some of the residents' concerns.
Yes, but you're absolutely correct. The county does require improvement bonds, and we will be posting those and doing what we need to do.
Thanks, Bob. Good question. Bob, I forgot about it.
Maybe I can give you some lessons.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion for P-1-23 and FP-1-23?
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Heath?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
Aye.
So this will go with the recommendation for approval to the city council again, February 21st. This one is, I'm sorry. First meeting, February 7th. You said 6th and 7th, that one will have a pre-council meeting also, I believe. I believe that will be February 6th and 7th for city council if you're interested here with us. Next order of business is P223, preliminary plat of Aspen Meadows Unified Subdivision, and FP 223, final plat of Aspen Meadows Unified Subdivision. Under general information, the applicant is Core Homes LLC. The status of the applicant is owner developer. Requested action is approval of a preliminary plat and final plat. Purpose is to create 3 additional single-family lots within an existing subdivision. The existing zoning is R2 single-family residential. Location is southeast corner of Caton Farm Road and Red Hawk Drive. Size is 1.05 acres. Existing land use is undeveloped. Surrounding land use and zoning to the north is residential, county R3 single-family residential. To the south is residential, and that's within Aspen Meadows R2. To the east is commercial, that's in Aspen Meadows RB restricted business. To the west is residential in Aspen Meadows R2 single family. Under site history, the subject property is lot 231 of Aspen Meadows Unit 4 subdivision. Property that is now Aspen Meadows subdivision was annexed and classified to R2 in 1989. Preliminary plat for Aspen Meadows was approved in 1998. Final and recording plats were approved in 1998 for Unit 1 and Unit 2, and 1999 for Unit 3. Unit 2, which contains the lot adjacent to the east side of the subject property, was reclassified from R2 to RB in 1998. Currently contains professional office uses. Unit 4, which included 44 single-family lots plus Lot 231, was approved in 2000. At that time, Lot 231 was left undeveloped as possible future commercial development. The site is zoned R2 single-family residential. Special information, the preliminary and final plat of Aspen Meadows Unified Subdivision creates 3 lots and 1 outlot on a 1-acre site within an existing residential subdivision. Lots 260, 261, and 262 would be single-family lots. Outlot D contains a 30-foot landscape easement along Caton Farm Road. The developer and petitioner, Core Homes LLC, plans to build houses of similar size and character to those that are already existing in the neighborhood. Proposed residential lots conform to the standards required for lots in the R2 district and are similar in size to the larger existing lots along Red Hawk Drive and White Eagle Drive. Lot 262 is over 12,000 square feet. Lots 261 and 260 are over 14,000 square feet. Public improvements were completed as part of the original subdivision approval. Portions of the existing public sidewalk along the east side of Red Hawk Drive lie on the interior of Outlot D, Lot 262 in the northwest corner of Lot 261. Easement will be reserved over these sidewalk portions. Water and sewer connection fees, school fees, and development impact fees will be required at the time of development, and that concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have the petitioner on hand? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name.
John Grove, here on behalf of the petitioner with my engineer, Regina and Associates.
You have a thing, you guys want to build 3 houses, 4 houses?
That's basically it. Yep, I can't really add much more than Mr. Torrey's report, but we're going to build 3 single-family homes.
Okay. Any comments, questions from any commissioners? Comments, questions from the public? Yes, so you have something you wish to say? Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
State your name, please.
My name is Andy Lejeune. I'm a resident of Aspen Meadows. I'm actually on the HOA board too, and I have some concerns about a few things on this. It shouldn't be too difficult, but the first thing you already addressed as far as the similar house styles, which is fine. That was one concern. The next one is the Outlot D. So what are the plans for that? Yes.
Yeah. I actually had sent a letter to your management company as far as an email as far as to the homeowners association. We were actually going to approach the homeowners association about taking that outlot if you'd be agreeable to it. If not, it'll have to be probably be the responsibility of the resident along Caton Farm Road or the home along Caton Farm Road. But we thought that you may want to take that because you're going to be getting 3 additional residents that are going to be paying dues. And you might want to make sure that, the berm is kept properly. as a homeowners association.
Oh, I didn't see the berm plan. The concern for the outlot D is actually the additional cost that'll be for landscaping for that. So if there was an option for beautification for trees or shrubs that the builder could put in, so that way there's less landscaping, because the landscaping cost is 1/3 of our budget every year. And those 3 homes are only gonna add $510 of revenue. So it wouldn't cover the cost of the maintenance for that. So we'd be open to having it, but we'd want something that would maybe look nicer.
I mean, we could look at that. I mean, that berm has been there for 25 years.
There's no berm.
Yeah, that's right. The lack of the berm is, there's been nothing there for about 25 years.
Right.
We can certainly consider that. You know, we cut that currently right now, but we can certainly talk about that, sure.
Okay. So if you're gonna work with us on that, that should address that. The next thing is the parking. I mean, we heard some pretty horrendous parking issues earlier. This is not that horrendous, but the concern too is for the first all 3 homes, because White Eagle comes across into Red Hawk, and if we stick with standard parking rules for the city, I think is it 15 feet from the stop sign, then there's going to be there's potential for cars parked on the street in the right-hand turn lane to get out of the subdivision. So right now there's 2 lanes, one to turn right, one to turn left. So, you know.
There'd be no parking in that turn lane. That's me talking. Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Over here.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Jim.
So there'd be no parking in that turn lane.
So going back to the drawing, it looks like, so that would be lot 262, but lot 261 is partially, it starts there too. So.
Yeah, most likely that would be also no parking, right within that area of that turn lane.
Because as the major, there's 2 entrances of the subdivision, so having anything congested there is gonna be an issue, because again, in our subdivision too, we have parking issues. People are parking in the street. There's some homes that have 5 or 6 cars that they have parked, you know, some in the driveway, some in the street. We can at least still park in front of our homes, but right there, in those 3 lots, where they're used to no cars, nothing parking there, so any parking along there could be, you know, problematic.
Looks like a turn lane the whole way on this picture that I'm looking at.
It is 2-lane, right about to lot 260, that way. 261, towards the top, it starts widening out and spanning out. So we would request that there's no parking along there.
Yeah, along 262 in that portion of 261, there should be no parking.
Would you be able to do it for 260?
No, and for south of 261, I doubt also, whatever the standards would be, we wouldn't do something above that. It'd be up to our traffic engineer, and we could have him look at that. Whatever his requirements are is how it would be addressed. But me looking at it, that area in front of Outlot D, Lot 262, and that small little portion of 261 is all that would be no parking restricted.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
If I could get your contact information, so we're not agree.
And I think with respect to the berming that this gentleman's referring to, I mean, the city does have a landscape ordinance, and we'll certainly comply, you know, with that landscape ordinance.
Any other comments, questions, commissioners? Seeing none, can I have a motion for P-2-23 and FP-2-23?
Motion to approve.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wunderlich.
Aye.
Mr. Cox.
Aye.
Mr. Crompton.
Aye.
Mr. Heath.
Aye.
Mr. Kella.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Rohr.
Aye.
Mr. Dillon.
Aye.
Okay, so that will go with the recommendation for approval to the February 21st City Council meeting. Let's see here. Next order of business would be P323 and FP323. These are both the preliminary and final plat for casino parcel at Rock Run Crossing subdivision. Under general information, the applicant is Cullen and Joliet LLC. Status of the applicant is owner. The requested action is approval of a preliminary plat and final plat for casino parcel at Rock Run Crossing subdivision. Purpose is to allow for a 3-lot subdivision for future development of a casino and entertainment center. The existing zoning is B2 Central Business District. Location is east of Gateway Boulevard on Olympic Boulevard. Size is 41.092 acres. The existing land use is undeveloped. Surrounding land use and zoning: to the north is undeveloped B2 Central Business District. To the south is undeveloped I-1 Light Industrial. To the east is Woodlands, R1 Single Family Residential, and I-1 Light Industrial. And to the west is undeveloped B2 Central Business District. Site history: in January of 2021, the city passed ordinances that designated the Rock Run Crossings redevelopment project area as a tax increment financing district and adopted a TIF eligibility study, redevelopment plan and project to guide redevelopment within the project area. This project area was expanded in 2022 to encompass a 309-acre area, which would include a future mixed-use development containing commercial, retail, restaurant, entertainment attractions, recreational amenities, and a multi-family residential neighborhood. Subject property lies within the Rock Run Crossings redevelopment project area. Property has been undeveloped farmland for its entire existence, but was recently included as Lot 3 in the Rock Run Crossings multi-family plan unit development subdivision. The lot was included in that subdivision with the understanding that it would likely be developed for commercial uses in the future. The subject petition wishes to re-subdivide Lot 3 from the Rock Run Crossings multifamily plan unit development subdivision, so it is included in the proposed casino parcel subdivision. Since the Rock Run Crossings multifamily subdivision has not yet been recorded, any recording of the subject subdivision will have to wait until the previous subdivision has been recorded. So under special information, the petitioner seeks approval of a preliminary plat and final plat for the Rock Run Crossings casino parcel subdivision. The petitioner has also submitted for city council approval of a recording plat of subdivision that will only be heard by the city council. Approval of all 3 plats would create the lot arrangement that is needed to eventually develop the relocated Hollywood Casino on Lot 3, which would be approximately 15 acres, and the Rock Run Crossings redevelopment project area tax increment financing district was approved for the subject area. It was envisioned that larger commercial and entertainment acre tenants such as Hollywood Casino would be a component of the overall development. The 9.9 acre area set aside in Lot 4 of the preliminary and final plats is excess land that is not needed for the casino lot. This area will likely be further subdivided in the future for separate commercial uses. Lot 5 is approximately 15.88 acres in size and contains an existing stormwater, detention, public utility, and drainage easement. No development of any kind will take place on this lot. Separate plat of easement will be needed to record a public utility easement that will be needed around the perimeter of the site. The plat of easement will include a public utility easement that will feature a public water main that will loop around the casino lot. Since more time is needed to finalize exact water main and easement locations, public utility staff will allow the subject plats that would create the proposed lots to proceed. Plat of easement would be required to be submitted when building permits on the casino are filed. Any future development within the subdivision would require connection to city water and sewer. In addition, public improvements, landscaping, screening, paving, curbing, site lighting, and adherence to the city's non-residential design standards will be required as per city ordinances. Sewer and water connection fees and developer impact fees will also be required for the future development, and that concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Jim. Is the petitioner on hand? Do you have anything, you already sworn in, you have anything you wish to add?
Nope, I think that's good. Staff report covered it. If there's any questions, happy to answer them.
Any questions from any commissioners?
I'm just trying to understand, which lot is it going on? Is it all 3 of those? I'm trying to understand.
No, so the one lot for the casino is the lot 3 that's identified there.
3, okay.
Yeah, detention on 5, and then the remaining that's identified in the staff report is the lot 4.
3 is a casino lot.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Will there be a parking deck? Or is it?
They have identified on their plans, those plans haven't been solidified, but they are looking on at a deck on their preliminary plans on the north end of the site.
Okay. Any other questions? Any comments, questions from the public? Yep, seeing none, do I have a motion for P-3-23 and FP-3-23?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Heath?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr? Aye. Mr. Wonderlich?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
Aye.
And this, like most of the others, will go to February 21st City Council with a recommendation for approval. And on M222, we addressed already for the 800 block of Chorus Street. Under new business, we have none. Under old, new business, not for final action or recommendation, we have none. Under public comments, this section is for anyone wanting to speak on non-agenda items or allows 4 minutes. I don't think anyone's here in attendance, but if anybody wanted to speak, they are able to. And lastly, adjournment if you choose. They're shutting the lights off on us, so.
Motion for adjournment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Jim.